Insanity is the cornerstone of racism. Stupidity, its very foundation. Moreover, a black racist will curse every white person in existence, and in the next breath he will call his brother a nigger. Deep within the psyche of this brother, who outwardly claims to hate whites, lies the seed of self-hatred. Resentment and jealousy are byproducts of an unrested, uncultivated, unloved soul. This self-hatred continues until the pain and negative feelings are properly dealt with. No amount of boasting about how evil and sinister the white man is will alleviate the pain of self-hatred. The road to wellness and happiness begins within, my brothers, my sisters. Someone once said that the longest journey is the one that starts on one side of your head and ends on the other. Forget about focusing on white people. If you feel hatred towards others, it is an absolute that you are merely reflecting the feelings and self-hatred that are lying dormant within the crevices of your own being. The most resentful blacks are the last ones to embrace African values or study African histories. They will curse the white man, yet refuse to rid themselves of the white slave master's name. They will curse the white woman even while burning their scalp, attempting to make their hair look like their white enemy. I have always been amazed by the fact that a brother could claim to hate the so-called white devil and then turn right around and give his son a European name and continue the heritage, remnants of slavery. Their true problem is that they are jealous and resentful. They would be surprised to find that a healthy knowledge of themselves and their heritage will alleviate much of their pain. We must come to the conclusion that humans are neither above nor below one another in the stature as far as nature is concerned. Racial hatred is a man-made disease. If you will rid yourself of your own slave mentality, you will no longer be a slave to racism or to racists. You are always free to choose your own thoughts. Get started molding your own world from within your own mind and heart. The world without will follow. Now, there's another type of racist within the black community. Their hatred for themselves and other blacks run the deepest. It is the racist who bitterly hates his own kind. They hate the fact that they were born African. They especially hate poor blacks that embarrasses them in front of their white buddies. Most of these racist brothers and sisters are so-called educated and tend to live in nice neighborhoods and have so-called nice jobs. They continue to run from the things in life that reminds them that they are African. To their warped minds, a big house and a fat paycheck makes them equal to whites. That is their driving aim in life, is to be accepted by their white trump. The more they are like the white people, the happier these pitiful brothers and sisters are. They are in fact cheap, meager replicas of white people. Synthetic white people, if you will. It is sad because these are the very people who could be of great help in elevating less fortunate blacks. On every street in every so-called ghetto, there is at least one person who is in the frame of mind to be helped if these sophisticated brothers and sisters would but lend a hand or offer a few words of encouragement. If we were all united for a common cause, we could uplift ourselves rather than depend on so many governmental programs to do what can only be accomplished by us individually and collectively. I first began taking notes of these miseducated blacks when I began doing research for the book. I wanted to rap to so-called successful brothers and sisters in order to tap their resources. My idea was to retrieve principles of success in order to pass them on to my readership. To my surprise, I came across more snobbery among these types than among their white counterparts whom they are so busy trying to emulate. I found more often than not that they would be more inclined to give me acceptance when I dressed in a three-piece suit. On those days when I wore jeans and a sweatshirt, they would hardly give me the time of day. They shunned me in a way that I'll not soon forget. Their disdain for me was piercing. Their disgust rivaled the reddest of rednecks. I am careful not to throw them all in this negative category, but the fact remains that I encountered hostilities all too often. In retrospect, I have to chuckle because they reminded me of the character Sarge in the movie A Soldier's Story. Good old Sarge did all he could to be accepted by whites. In his pursuit, he ended up literally killing other brothers who did not meet with white folk approval. Even though he could not be white, he would have happily settled for second best, to at least be accepted by whites. To be a crude imitation of whites was indeed a worthy ambition, and the final analysis showed that he was psychologically drained and crushed at discovering that no matter how much he placated and tried to snuggle up to his superiors, whites still would not accept him as their equal. So I say to these black races, loosen your ties, raise your proud black heads, and decide to dedicate yourselves to helping your hurting brothers and sisters. You may be surprised to find that those so-called uneducated tribesmen and women may teach you a thing or two. Now, the most sinister black racist is the one who hides his or her own inferiority behind the cloak of black history or Afrocentricity. Like the Klansmen, they will have all the research to prove that whites are inherently evil. They believe that blacks are the children of God and they're by nature inherently good, and whites are children of the devil, or that their nature is somehow aligned with that of Satan. Every vice, malady, or behavioral problem that we suffer will find its root at the foot of that dastardly white man. They unmindfully make the white man all-knowing and all-powerful, and the results consign our responsibility and our power to white human beings. Nothing happened to us without our assistance. We were a divided and tribalized people long before the arrival of European and white Arab poachers. Tribe fought tribe, stole tribe, sold tribe, and ultimately tribe killed tribe. The institution of slavery would never have lasted had it not been for the black house slaves allowing themselves to become tools of the white slave master. The weak will seek out the strong for nourishment, even if the nourishment is only a figment of their improperly cultivated imagination. We must learn that to be a perpetual abuser, there must by natural law and order be a perpetually compliant and willing victim. We must quest to remedy our own weaknesses as a race if we are to move on to higher ground. Whites, Asians, Native Americans, and every other people on this earth must remedy their own ills first. The real tragedy is that many of these hostile and wrathful Afrocentric brothers and sisters would be of great use as instructors, motivators, and leaders in our communities, yet they turn people off with their animosity, bitterness, and contempt for other races. They tend to live and dwell in a negative world, which is merely reflective of their pessimistic and crippling thinking. If you do not know that all living forms are an integral part of this magnificent affair called life, then you, my friend, are thought-shackled in the worst possible way. The same life force that flows within whites and every other person on this earth is made up of the same stuff that makes us. The life force does not discriminate, but trifling and backwards thinking humans do. The problem with this world is that we do not know that we are intrinsically the same. No, my brothers and sisters, black history should bring us closer to each other and closer to other races, or at least leave you with a better understanding of life from every angle. The creator of all that we know saw fit to create this world. The least you could do is cherish divine conception in all shapes, sizes, and colors, lest your mind be shackled.